And then I'm just gonna mute everybody right now. And again, if you need to come off, you can come off at any point in time. Hi, those of you that are just joining in. It's Trevor here. We're doing technology drop-in Thursdays today. Got some cool stuff happening, and next week we'll have some other fun stuff happening. Unfortunately, just because of the way they release stuff for the new features, we're not going to be able to see everything today in Webex. But hopefully you'll be able to see this. Can you guys see my screen? Okay. Can I get a thumbs up? Perfect. All right. So here's the agenda, what we're going to look about today. First thing I want to do is draw everyone's attention to the Faculty Technology Showcase. It's going to happen on February 2nd. There'll be some information in McEwen midweek coming up. I will be posting something in our technology chat later today or tomorrow with some links for you guys to join in. Basically, there's going to be 4 of the faculty members from the university that are playing with technology. And the idea is to do a showcase, see what's available, what's possible, and what people are doing with the technology we have now, and how they're trying to take advantage of it as we're working more online, which of course everyone's having to try and adjust, even though we're coming up to a year doing this. There's still, that first few months was scramble, get everything online. And now it's what can we do to further that? So the guys are going to be doing that. I will be just kind of sitting in the background hosting stuff, but they're going to be having a great show. So keep an eye out on McEwen midweek and on our tech information for our tech channel for more information on that. So today I want to start off with talking about Microsoft and Microsoft Lists. We kind of talked about lists a little while ago. Microsoft Lists, basically the way I look at it, is spreadsheet for dummies. It's simple, it's easy. That's why I like it. You don't have all the function commands and stuff like that. Basically, here's a list of stuff, and if I need to filter it and find stuff, it's really easy to do. I'm just going to go into my Teams here. And within, whoops, that's not it, in Microsoft Teams. And I have lists already in here, so I can pull up a list. I'm just going to pull up one that I've created already. So I think post the sample, here's one. Lists can be available either through OneDrive or SharePoint. So if I've got a team, so for example, I've got a team here, maybe there's a bunch of assets or something that we're doing, which is something that we do have in technology support. This makes it really easy for everyone to have access without being overwhelmed by all the Excel stuff that's in there. Because here I've got, in this case, a title, a description, a published date. I can add columns too. So there's other metadata that we can create regardless of what started off. We can add new stuff in there. Let's say we're going to assign this to a person. The cool thing about that is if I make this a person piece, it actually will, I'm just going to, so assignee. It will actually look up that person's information. So I'm going to just go to this piece here. I'm going to edit this, and under assignee, I'm just going to start typing in Dave because his name's there. And look what's happening. It's already trying to look up Dave Cato. There we go. So we know that person exists. We've got information attached to it, so we can look up his email and whatever else. That's all done through the back-end connection. So lists is really something that I'm trying to move more towards. Instead of having the spreadsheets, Excel sheets, trying to make more use of lists because there's lots of cool things to do and the sharing's really easy. And one of the things that we mentioned is that it is now available on your iOS device. So it is available on iOS. It's coming to Android, but it's not here quite yet. So just stay tuned with that. As soon as I hear something, I'll let you know. But the beauty of it, having it on your phone, is it's all these lists. I can filter, I can assign stuff, I can create new rows, whatever. Really easy from within the mobile device. So that's lists. There's another cool thing that's available is under the apps here. So if you go to these 3 dots in Teams, and I'm looking at the web version of this, but it's also available on the desktop. But if I go to the 3 dots here in Teams, and there's all these different applications that are available. Right now, McEwen's only looking at the Microsoft apps. There are other ones, and hopefully we'll be able to review and add some other ones in. But the one I want to look at right now today is called Approvals. So Approvals is a way to find out where the files are that you need to approve or that you have sent out to be approved. So where does this happen? Well, this happens actually in SharePoint. So I'm going to go into, let's do this. I'm going to go into here, into my team. And I've got a team created here for this group. And I'm going to go under, whoops, their general here. And I'm going to go to my files here. And there is the team. Now, or sorry, there's the files. So this is the file that I've been working on. And I can open this up. When I click on this, it's going to automatically open this up in the web version of Microsoft Word. I can make some changes and stuff like that. I'm just going to open up everything into SharePoint. So we're going to go to the SharePoint site. Now, the way this works is if there's a group of people created at the top, okay, there's a group. That group of people can have access to a whole bunch of different services. So Teams, chat, we can have access to that. Outlook and email groups can have access to that. Can also have a website and access to that. Basically, when you're working in that SharePoint site that you've got for your program or your department, that is a SharePoint site. So it actually has a number of different, like you see all the menus here. We've actually, for those sites, have turned off everything. So the only thing that shows up is documents. So just because it looks a little bit different than what you're used to with your department ones, it's exactly the same thing. One of the cool things about it when I'm working in the SharePoint here is the 3 dots here. It gives me all sorts of different menus open here. And one that we want to look at is called Automate. And so Power Automate is another tool that basically adds different steps and stuff, and you can do different things with this file. So automation is what it talks about, and they used to be called flows. So with the flow, I could say, you know, if someone opens this up, do ABC. So it's a lot of the if-then kind of statements. But you don't actually have to create everything. And one that comes tied in is called request sign-off. So if I've been working on this document and I want somebody to come in and, you know, I want to request a sign-off, I could do it using a chat or a comment, like highlight my document, put a comment in there and say, hey, Dave, can you approve this? And then in the reply, he goes, yes, I approve it. And then we've got that tracked off. But I could also do it this way. So if I go request sign off, it's going to run an automation flow that Microsoft has already created. Now you can create your own flows. It's a little complicated, and we've talked about it in the past, and there's some of us are working to try and learn this stuff. But this one's nice because it's right there. It's all built in. So I'm just going to go ahead and create this flow. Now it's assigned to this retreat meal document. The power, oh, of course it doesn't. Imagine, if you will, though, this form filled up here. And it said, let's see if I can get it to work this time. Nope. Imagine, if you will, a form filled up and it said, who do you want to contact? Or who do you want to sign off? And I put whatever the person's name into it and send it off. What would happen is that I would get a status here that says pending, means it's been sent off. The receiver that I've sent it to would get an email saying Trevor has requested that you sign off or approve this document. That same message is tracked through the approval app. So when I go into my approvals app here, and I just did this earlier today because that's when it worked. Here are all the requests that I have received. Oh man, there we go. So there was a request. So someone sent this request. It's actually me, of course, but it would have been, you know, whoever. But there's a request, and in the request it tells me the status. So right now I can see here's those ones I've rejected. Here's ones I've approved. Normally they would say pending, and when I open this up, there's actually a little button down here that says approve or cancel. And when I click on that, it kicks a flow back, sends an email back to that person to say yes, Trevor has approved it or not approved it, and I can track all those requests for approval right from the app here. So it's really handy that Teams is able to put that all together. But the place to make use of it is in SharePoint. So you need to go find that file in SharePoint, use the 3 dots there, and request through the Power Automate. Anyone got any questions on that? No questions? Okay. Oh, there's something in the chat. Let me just take who is mature now? Oh, okay. We don't need to repeat that one. All right. So yeah, so lists are becoming to be more and more important as we go along. So it's you know, it's good to take a look at what we can do with that. Advanced find and replace in Microsoft Word. I'm not going to do a lot in here, but I just want to show you this. I was showing someone else this in training, and I realized I haven't shown you guys that. So we're all familiar with find and replace. I'm just going to go into replace here. So those times when, hey, you know what? Robert wants to be known as Bob. So I would go through and I would do a search and replace for Robert and Bob. Now, the problem though is that I might find Robert has a bob that he puts on his fishing rod. Okay, so Bob means the bobber, but I mean, that's a lowercase b, but Robert's an uppercase. And I want to make sure that I don't get things mixed up. So I can actually go through and not only search for words, but I can also do other things. So for example, if I had Rob and Robert, let's do Bob and Bob. Let's do Bob and Bob. So Bob and Bob. So if I had Bob as capitalized and then Bob, actually I'm searching for Bob, which is capitalized. I can go match case. It's actually going to search for Bob with a capital B. It's going to ignore all the other Bobs that are in lowercase. So as I'm going through, I can get very specific about the text that I'm trying to replace. What's also handy with this special research and stuff is that I can go in and look for special characters. So if I take a look here, you can see where I've got 2 character returns. I actually want to use the style sheets, and I'm going to put a space in there after this space after the paragraph formatting. I don't want to put 2 carriage returns, but to go through 300 pages and highlight each one of those would take forever. Well, that's the beauty of what Microsoft has is if I go under special, there's all these special characters that it recognizes. So for example, paragraph mark. I want to find 2 paragraph marks. I'm going to replace it with just 1. Now I can go through and do replace all. Bang, there's that whole document cleaned up. I can just go now into this style here. So I'm just going to go into this this one paragraph here, and I'm going to just go and pull up paragraph. And I'm going to say I want to put a space after of 12. Sure. So there's that space, and now I just apply that to my normal style sheet. If any of the stuff that I just did right now is alien to you, I do have a course coming up called Basic Must-Have Skills with Microsoft Word. We go through all this stuff and talk about it. But the other thing I also want to show off is this. I'm going to go into here, and most people, when they do styles, they just bold. I'm going to do a bold here. I'll do a bold here. I'm going to make this bold 14 in size, et cetera, et cetera. If you use bolding like that, you can't use a table of contents. You have to manually create that. Whereas here, I can go through and do a table of contents based on these styles, but I have to apply the style. I can also search for styles. So I'm going to go into my format here. What am I looking for? I'm going to look for text that is bolded and 14 point in size. So I want something that is 14 point in size and that is bolded. So those are going to become, so it says background here. That's the word background, and anything else I would happen to have. Just look for that. No letters. Just look for that formatting. But when you find that formatting, replace it with the heading 1 style. Again, 400 pages. Replace all, bang, and you can see. Whoops! You can see down here that it's replaced it there. Now this is probably tied in because of the paragraph or something. I'd have to figure that out. But I mean, again, I could go through and change it. But look how fast I was to do that. So take a look at the find and replace. I've used this a lot of times when there's cleaning up I need to do. I can go through and quickly format stuff. And that find and replace is just a great tool to be aware of. All right, let's see what else we got here. How about, Webex. Webex gestures. Oh, this is so exciting. Kind of. I'm going to just start a meeting here. So in Webex, I can go through, I can do gestures. So that means like a thumbs up, a thumbs down, happy face, all that kind of stuff. When you start a meeting, go down to the gestures or the reactions here. I can click on all this stuff here, but there's a new switch here. It says recognize hand gestures. So right now it's only doing thumbs up, thumbs down, and clapping. So if I don't feel like doing mousing through and stuff, I can just do this. Oh, I got to look at the right camera. There we go. There's a thumbs up. I don't actually have to type anything. I can do a thumbs down. You'll pop it in. You can do clapping, but you can also just put your hands together and that'll send it off. And so that's just general feedback that you can provide to your presenter just by doing stuff like this. Oh, that's so cool, and not have to worry about getting into clicking buttons and stuff. Next week, I'm hoping, or the week after, I think, Webex has got some more tools coming out, so we'll talk more about that. I know I have it in the show notes there, but just ignore them for today. But we will talk more about how to move between breakout rooms next week. Okay, just a couple quick ones here. Mute all in Google Meets. If you're a Google Meet user, one of the challenges is that if you have 30 people or 200 people and you're trying to get everyone to be quiet, Google Meets does not have any way of just switching everybody off. You actually have to go and manually click through all those different people and mute them. So if there was another user here, I would have to go here, right click on them and mute them. And if there was 30 people, I'd have to mute them individually. This Chrome extension that I've linked to in the document adds this mute all and remove all buttons. So now I don't have to go through 30 people. I just click on that, bang, it does it for me, mutes everybody, makes it a lot easier. Google has said that they're bringing this out, building this in, but until that happens, go ahead and make use of that. And Google Photos. So Google Photos is going away. The free service is going away. You're going to get like, I think 15 gigs. And then after that, if you fill it up, then you're going to have to pay for it. So sometimes you might want to try and get and take those photos off Google and move them somewhere else if you don't want to pay for it. And Google Photos has Google has something called Takeout. Takeout allows you to go in and remove all of your Google files, download them, and then go somewhere else. So all my Google documents, my sheets, whatever, will get converted to Microsoft. I will be able to download them, and then I can move them over to wherever I want. If you go into Takeout, I'm not going to demonstrate because it's really easy, but if you go into Takeout, just go to Photos and you select Photos. You can say, hey, I want to download all the photos I've ever uploaded. So anything from my camera, anything I've manually uploaded that's in the cloud, whatever Google sees, it will download, or it will automatically export it to Flickr or OneDrive. So if you're already paying for OneDrive, if you're already paying for a Flickr account, it will take those photos. You don't even have to download them. It just exports copies over to those areas. Quick disclaimer, do not move them to your personal OneDrive on McEwen, okay? The McEwen files are for McEwen files, which means that if they need to, for whatever reason, the university has the right to go through the files stored in OneDrive. They are not personal drives, those are work drives. So do not put your personal stuff on there. Last I'm going to talk about is something called WonderMe. And this will be really quick. I'm going to put a post to an invite next week. One of the problems that I have been finding with these video conferencing tools is the ability to move from spot to spot, to get that, here's a group of people and everyone breaks out into little conversations. WonderMe does that. And what it does is basically says, here's a big room and you're a person, go ahead, accept all, enable, I thought I had this set up. Yeah, whatever. Go in there, take a picture of me. But what it does is it has a big room. And you can go and move from different parts of the room and start talking to people, just like you would in a conversation. They even can have areas where you've got a, not a couch, but I'm just going to throw something in here, not a couch, but space is set up. So here's a space that I created. So this is I call it my rumpus room, and I've got different themes that people can talk about. Now these don't do anything, they're just there, but I have Marvel movies, movie quotes, and TV remakes. So the idea is if I click and drag, I'm gonna go over here, there's gonna be a bunch of other people who are also interested in talking about TV remakes. And when two of these buttons or whatever these things are called, icons come together, it starts a video call. So I can get 10 people and people can keep on joining in and joining in. So you can have that kind of conference feel about things where people just meander about. It also provides you as the creator to actually start a broadcast. So everyone's conversations stop and now the keynote's on and I'm talking. This is not a tool supported by McEwen University, but when you've got a group of family or something like that, or kind of thing that you wanted to explore, I suggest take a look at WonderMe. It's worth exploring and taking a look at. We don't support it at the university, but I'm sure there's other places that you could do. I was thinking of using it with my community league. I thought that'd be kind of cool. Let's get the community league together, and they can all go into different areas and start talking and have conversations. So that's WonderMe. And that pretty much is it. I'm just going to see here if I Have any questions or something? Nothing there. Yep, Troy actually has a good suggestion for those of you that have Amazon. You have Amazon photo storage as well. I'm not sure how much space they provide you with, but if you're already paying for Amazon, hey, why not? You can just download it and then upload it again. All right, I don't see any other questions. Are there any questions out there anyone wants to ask? Go ahead, Dave, just come off.
Yeah, just what you were just talking about Google, et cetera, and I've been seeing some of those warnings. I have a paid Google account, a couple of hundred gigabytes kind of thing. Now, I need to clarify that does not affect that paid account. So I can take stuff from my so-called free account and just shove them over there. Correct?
Okay, they're on separate accounts. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Because I've got the one account that I'm sharing with folks, but I'm paying for that extra storage
on the second account.
Right?
Yeah. And in fact, there is a different link that I would recommend to you. It's part of Takeout. It's called takeout.google.com/transfer, I think it is. Okay. Basically, what that will do is allow you to transfer your files from one Google account to another. So it's one that we kind of promote with students when they're leaving McEwen University. Rather than download it, they could just transfer their stuff over to their other account. So you might want to take a look at that.
Okay, now, just that way you're saying that, does that work with, let's say I might have a personal photo or two on Microsoft Drive, but university one, I want to shove them over to Google. So I'm assuming I have to download those and then take them over to Google. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
they don't talk to one another. They don't work.
No. They're kind of snobs towards each other. Yeah.
Don't work and play well together.
Yeah. So you can definitely do that. I found an app, and maybe I'll talk about next week, that actually will go through and index what you have on your drive, because when that thing happens, I think it's in April, you're going to pay for everything. And I'm not sure, like it used to be that Google Documents did not count against your Google account, but from what I've read, they are. Now, that doesn't mean too much, because they're going to be like 1 or 2K probably. But I mean, if you got 1,000 of them, that will add up to something. So still kind of wait to see if that's still the case, or how much that space is going to take up. But any other questions?
Nice business model. They got you trapped and now they suck you dry.
Well, you know what? It's $2 or $3 a month. I mean, I mean, I don't drink coffee or smoke, so I mean, I'm more than happy to do that. So
yeah.
Okay, I'm going to stop the recording then, and then if anyone has any other questions, we'll just chat.